very good morning, students. Welcome to science session for class 10, and today we are going to go into the physics session, and we are going to deal with the lesson 4 electricity. Now this lesson is very interesting. We will be learning about the electric current, what is electric circuit, what is potential, difference, electric potential, Ohm's law, a very important law, resistivity, conductivity, resistors connected in parallel and series. A very good morning, students. Welcome to science session for class 10, and today we are going to go into the physics session, and we are going to deal with the lesson 4 electricity. Now this lesson is very interesting. We'll be learning about the electric current, what is electric circuit, what is potential, difference, electric potential, Ohm's law, a very important law, resistivity, conductivity, resistors connected in parallel and series, about the domestic circuit, and at the last we'll be learning informations regarding the LED bulb and LED television. Let's go into the session, children. Now if I say electricity, now electricity is a form of an energy, isn't it? It is nothing but the flow of electric charges through the conductor. We have learnt about electricity in 9th standard in detail, isn't it? As a common term, I can say that electricity is a form of energy, and this electricity has become a necessity in our life, isn't it? The usage of the electric current in our day-to-day life has become very important and indispensable. It is used in house, educational institution, hospitals, industries, etc., isn't it? So it is very important that we understand the concept electricity. That is what we are going to do in this lesson. First, learn the concept what is electric current. Now we said that the motion of the electric charges, especially the electrons, through the conductor is called as the electric current. Now you can compare this with the flow of water, right? How do the water flows in a channel? It moves from a higher pressure region to a lower pressure region, isn't it? So similarly, this electric current also flows from an high potential region to a low potential region. Now what is this term potential? We'll learn about this term potential in the next concept after dealing with the electric current. But here we have to understand that it moves from a higher potential to a lower potential. Now what is this higher potential? The positive potential is called as the higher potential, and the negative potential is nothing but the lower potential, and this is done using the wire, isn't it? We connect the wires as a circuit, isn't it? And through the circuit, through the conductor, the flow of the current takes place. Now here in the picture you can find out, or you can know about the direction of the electron flow. Now how does it moves? It moves from the negative terminal to an positive terminal. Now here you can see that the electrons move from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. Now here you can see these are the negative charges, isn't it? And these are the positive charges. So this is the negative terminal and this is the positive terminal. So the electrons move from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. But before the discovery of the electrons, it was believed that the current flow from the positive terminal to the negative terminal. So it is just the opposite direction, isn't it? It is just the opposite to the direction of the electron, isn't it? So the electrons flow from the negative terminal to the positive terminal, and the current flows from the positive terminal to the negative terminal, and this is called as the conventional current. So the direction of the current is opposite to that of the direction of the electron flow. Now here you can see very clearly that from the negative terminal, this is the negative terminal. So from the negative terminal, the electrons move towards the positive terminal. So we can term the electric current as the rate of flow of charge in the conductor, because the flow of the charges is nothing but the current, isn't it? So it is defined as the rate of flow of charge in a conductor. Now the charge, what is the variable that is given to the charge? The charge is given by the variable Q, right? So the net charge Q passes through the cross section, any cross section of the conductor in time t. So now what is the current that is flowing through the conductor? The current flowing through the conductor is given by I is equal to Q by T. right? So the current can be defined as the amount of charge flowing in any cross section area of a conductor in unit time, and the formula is given as I is equal to Q by T, where Q is the charge and T is the time. Now what will be the SI unit of electric current? The SI unit of electric current is ampere. So the current flowing through the conductor is measured in ampere. Now what is 1 ampere? So current flowing through the conductor is 1 ampere if 1 coulomb of the charge passes in 1 second, then it is 1 ampere. So 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb divided by 1 second. So the amount of the current is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb of charge passes in 1 second. Now this electric current will pass through a conductor in a closed loop. Now if the loop is open, then the current do not pass through the circuit, right? So there should be a closed loop. So the path that is made using these electrical appliances and electrical wires, and that is also connected to a source, and this systematic representation of the electric circuit is given in the picture. Now here you can see the pictorial representation and the circuit diagram. This circuit is called as an electric circuit. The path is made using the electrical wires so as to connect the electrical appliances to the source. Now what is the source here? The battery is the source, isn't it? Now which gives you the electrical potential, isn't it? So a systematic diagram of the electric circuit is given here. Now here this consists of a battery, the bulb and the switch. So these are given a symbol when it is represented in the circuit diagram, right? So these components are given certain symbols if it is given in a circuit diagram. Now here you can see that this is the battery, right? And the switch is represented this way, and here is the bulb. The symbol for the bulb is this. So this is the pictorial representation and this is the circuit diagram. So there are certain symbols for some components that is connected in the circuit. Now let's see the symbols and the components that is connected in the circuit. Now look into this tabular column, children. So this will give you the components that is used in a circuit and the symbol that is representing these components. Now the first one is the resistor. Now resistor symbol is this way. So it will go as in zigzag lines like this, right? So this is how the resistor is represented. Next is the variable resistor. Now resistor and the variable resistor is used to fix the current. Now if I want a fixed value for the current that is flowing through the circuit, I can use this resistor or the variable resistor so as to fix the magnitude of the current, that is value of the current. The next one is the ammeter. So this is the symbol that is used. Now this is used to measure the current flowing in this circuit can be measured using an ammeter. The next one is the voltmeter, now which is used to represent the potential difference. Now we'll talk about the potential difference after this. Next is the galvanometer, which is represented using a circle inside which the letter G is written. So this is used to indicate the direction of the current, in which direction does the current flow. The next one is the diode and the light emitting diode. So we'll talk about these two in the higher classes. Now you will be learning about these two in the higher classes. The next one is the ground connection. Now you can see the symbol here. So this is the earthing. We can say it has earthing. The earthing is very, very important so that the electrical appliances that is connected in the circuit are protected or safe, and also protects from the short circuit and the over voltage. Next we'll see what is electrical potential or electrical potential difference, right? Now what is electrical potential? Now we said that the movement of the electric charge is nothing but the electric current, right? So now how it moves? It moves from a higher pressure to a lower pressure. Now in case of electricity, it moves from a higher potential to a lower potential, isn't it? So it moves from one point to the other. So in a conductor, the charge will flow from a point in which the potential is higher to a point in which the potential is low, isn't it? So the electrical potential at a point is defined as the amount of work done in moving a charge from one point to the other against the electric force. So this amount of work done is called as the electric potential. Now what is electric potential difference? Now it is between the 2 points, because we are moving a point from one place to the other, isn't it? So suppose, for example, if I take a point A, right? Now I'm moving a charge from point A to point B. So the work is done in moving a charge from point A to the point B, isn't it? Now here there is a potential difference between these 2 points, isn't it? So this is called as the potential difference, and it is nothing but the amount of work done in moving a charge from A to B. Right? Now what is the formula? So potential difference is given by the letter V. So V is equal to work done is W divided by charge is nothing but the Q. We know that. So V is equal to W divided by Q. So V is the potential difference, W is the work done, and Q is the charge. Now if VA and VB is the potential difference at the point A and B. Now the potential difference between the 2 points is given by. Now how can I calculate V? Now we said that VA and VB is the potential difference at the point A and B, isn't it? Now how should I calculate V? V is equal to VA minus VB, right? Now if the potential difference at A is more than B, then this formula goes, because from a higher value we subtract the lower value, isn't it? So if VA is more than VB, then V is equal to VA minus VB. Now if VB is greater than VA, then V is equal to VB minus VA. If VB is greater than VA, that is potential at B is greater than A, then this is the formula, that is the potential difference between A and B is given by VB minus VA. So this is how you represent it. Now what is the SI unit of electric potential? Now electric potential difference, the SI unit is given by volt, and the variable that is used is V, right? Now what is this 1 volt? Now what is the definition of 1 volt? Now we said similarly the definition for 1 ampere, isn't it? The 1 ampere is nothing but the 1 coulomb of charge in 1 second. That is movement of, or the current flowing, the charge that is flowing of 1 coulomb through a cross section of a conductor in 1 second. So that is 1 ampere. Similarly we can define what is 1 volt. 1 volt is given by, now what is the formula? Work done divided by charge, isn't it? So what is the unit for work done? It is joule. So 1 joule of work is done in moving a charge of 1 coulomb. So this is the definition or the formula for 1 volt. So 1 volt is defined as if 1 joule of work is done in moving 1 coulomb of charge from one point to the other point against the electric force. Now let's move to what is Ohm's law. Now Ohm's law is nothing but the relationship between the potential difference and the current is nothing but the Ohm's law. Now a German physicist, Georg Simon Ohms, gave a relationship between the potential difference and the current, and this is known as the Ohm's law. Now, to understand or derive the Ohm's law, the circuit used is given in the picture. Now, this is the circuit. Now, here you can see the battery, key, rheostat, which is connected to an conductor XY. The conductor is connected in parallel to an voltmeter, and the one point of the conductor is connected to an ammeter, which measures the flow of current, right? So using this activity, we are going to find out the relationship between the potential difference and the current flowing through the conductor. Now, according to Ohm's law, at constant temperature, the current I that is flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the voltage. That is, I is directly proportional to the potential difference. Now, here we know that I is the current and V is the potential difference, isn't it? So, now to remove this proportionality, what I have to do? I have to introduce an proportionality constant, right? And the value of this proportionality constant is given by 1 by R. So I have to introduce this constant in order to remove the proportionality symbol, right? So what will I write? I is directly proportional to V. So I is equal to 1 divided by R into V. So I have introduced this proportionality constant in order to remove the proportional symbol, right? Now from this, I can bring this R to the other side. So V is equal to IR. So this is the Ohm's law. V is equal to IR is the equation for the Ohm's law, and R here that is used in the equation is constant for a given material at a particular temperature or at the given temperature, and this R is nothing but the resistance of the material. Now, since we have said that the potential difference is directly proportional to the current, so when a graph is drawn between the potential difference and the current, it will be a straight line passing through the origin. Now let's see the graph. Now here you can see that the graph is drawn between the potential difference and the current. So the current is taken in the y-axis and the potential difference in the x-axis. And here you can see that it is in straight line passing through the origin. So this shows that the potential difference is directly proportional to the current. So the Ohm's law is given by the equation V is equal to IR, where V is the potential difference, I is the current flowing through the conductor, and R is the resistance of the material. And this Ohm's law states that the potential difference and the current are directly proportional. The current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference between the two ends of the conductor. Using the Ohm's law, we said that V is equal to IR, isn't it? Now we said that R is the resistance of the conductor. Now what is this resistance? Now the resistance of any material is the property to oppose the flow of charge. It's resisting in the sense it is opposing, isn't it? It is opposing the flow of charges, and hence the passage of current through it is opposed, and that is called as the resistance, and it is different for different material. Now here from this equation we can find out what is R. So R is equal to V divided by I. So this is the formula to calculate the resistance. So the resistance of the conductor can be defined as the ratio between the potential difference across the ends of the conductor and the current flowing through it. Now what is the unit of resistance? The unit of resistance is ohms. The unit is ohms, and the symbol that we use is this one, and the unit is ohms, right? The SI unit of the resistance is ohms and the symbol is given. Now what is this 1 ohm? Now we have defined what is 1 ampere, 1 volt, isn't it? Now similarly we can also define what is 1 ohm. 1 ohm is the resistance of the conductor if the current flowing is 1 ampere when the potential difference is 1 volt, right? Now let me write it. So 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt divided by 1 ampere. Now we know the equation of the R, isn't it? Now we said that R is equal to V divided by I, right? Now how is this V measured? V is measured in volt, and how this I is measured? I is measured in ampere. So 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt divided by 1 ampere. And what is the unit of resistance? Unit of resistance is ohms, and it is represented by the symbol like this. Clear, students? Next we'll move to what is electrical resistivity and electrical conductivity. So conductance is nothing but the property which helps the flow of current, isn't it? And we also said that resistance is nothing but the property which opposes the flow of current. Now we'll find out what is electrical resistivity and electrical conductivity. An experiment is conducted and it is been proved or verified that the resistance of any conductor is directly proportional to the length of the conductor, and it is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Now how do you represent this symbol? So this is how you represent the symbol, and this is nothing but rho. This is how you pronounce, and this is nothing but the resistivity, or it is also called as specific resistance. So this is how you pronounce. Rho is nothing but the electrical resistivity, and R resistance is directly proportional to the length of the conductor and inversely proportional to the area of cross section. R is equal to rho L by A. Right. Now from this equation I can find out what is rho. So rho is equal to RA by L. Right. So from this equation I found out rho. Now if L is 1 meter and area of cross section is 1 meter square, then what will happen? This becomes 1 and this becomes 1, isn't it? So rho is equal to R. The electrical resistivity of a material can be defined as the resistance of the conductor of unit length and unit area of cross section. Now what will be the unit of the resistivity? Now we know the formula for rho. Rho is equal to RA divided by L. Now what is the unit for resistance? Ohm. What is the unit for area? Meter square. Now this can be written as meter into meter square. Now what is the unit for length? Meter. Can I cancel this meter and meter? Okay. Now what is left? It is ohm meter. So this is the unit for the resistance. So the unit of the resistivity is ohm meter. And this electrical resistivity is nothing but the resisting power of that material when the electric current is passing through it, and this will be constant for a given material. Now for example, if I say nichrome is a conductor, right? And now the resistivity, if I say, it will be 1.5 into 10 to the power of minus 6 ohm meter. So it has a fixed value. Now let's see what is conductance. Now we already said that conductance is nothing but the property of a material that will help the flow of current, isn't it? So hence the passage of the current will be, if it is a conductor, it will help the flow of current. So the current flow will be more. Now resistance is nothing but the opposition of the current flow. So the conductance is nothing but the reciprocal of the resistance, isn't it? And the conductance is given by the symbol G. So G is the conductance, and it is nothing but the reciprocal of the resistance, isn't it? So because resistance is one which opposes the flow of current and conductance is one which helps the flow of current. So G is equal to 1 divided by R, where G is the conductance and R is the resistance. Now what will be the unit for G? Unit for G is ohm inverse because R is in the denominator, or it can also be said as ohm inverse, or it is mho. So this is the unit for conductance. Now let's see what is conductivity. Now if conductance is the reciprocal of resistance, then the reciprocal of the resistivity is nothing but its electrical conductivity. So conductivity and resistivity are connected together, and the conductance and resistance are connected together. Now what is the conductivity? Conductivity is given by the symbol mu. Now this mu is equal to 1 divided by rho. Now we know what is rho. Rho is nothing but the electrical resistivity. Now what is the unit of conductivity? Conductivity is ohm inverse meter inverse, or ohm inverse can be taken as mho. So mho meter inverse is the unit for conductivity. So the conductivity will be on constant. Now we said that the resistivity is constant for a given material, isn't it? So similarly, the conductivity is constant for a given material. And if you see, the conductivity is nothing but the measure of the ability to pass the current through the conductor. Now there are good conductors. Now for example, copper, aluminium. So these are the good conductors, the materials which has good conducting capacity. Now if you say the non-conductors, now the non-conductors are called as insulators. Now they do not conduct electricity, and this will have high resistivity. Now for example, glass, wood, rubber. So these are some other materials which are called as non-conductors or insulators. Now if you see conductivity is more for conductors than insulator, but resistivity is less for the conductance than the insulators. So this is how it is related. Now you can see the tabular column which gives you the value for the conductors and insulators. Let's see the tabular column. Here you can see the resistivity value for the conductor as well as for the insulator. Now if you see the resistivity for the insulator, it is more high, isn't it? So for example, if you take glass, it is 10 to the power of 10 to 10 to the power of 14. So the resistivity is more for the insulator and it is less for the conductor. See the numerical problems based on the concept that we have so far learned. Now the first numerical problem is in page number 43. First, solve problems. A charge of 12 coulomb flows through a bulb in 5 seconds. What is the current flowing through the bulb? Now what is given? The charge is given, that is 12 coulomb, and the time is 5 seconds, right? Now what we have to find out? We have to find out the current, right? So current we have to find out. Now what is the solution? We know that I is equal to Q divided by T, and Q is 12. T is 5 seconds. So when you divide, you will get 2.4. Now what is the unit for current? Ampere. So current flowing through the bulb is 2.4 ampere. So this is the simple numerical problem. Now let's move into the second problem. A work done in moving a charge of 10 coulomb across 2 points in a circuit is 100 joules. Now what is the potential difference? Now what we have to find out? We have to find out the potential difference. Charge is given and the work done is given. Now charge is given as 10 coulomb and the work done W is equal to 100 joules. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out the potential difference. Now we know that the potential difference is equal to the work done divided by the charge, isn't it? Just now we have learned the formula, right? So work done is 100 divided by charge is 10. So this will become 10 volt. When you cancel 1 0, the remaining is 10 volt. So the potential difference across the 2 points is 10 volts. Now the next problem is about the resistivity. Calculate the resistance of the conductor through which a current of 2 ampere passes when the potential difference between the two ends is 30 volt. Now what is the current? Current is 2 amperes and volt is 30 V. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out the resistance. Now we saw the Ohm's law, isn't it? V is equal to IR. Now from that we have derived what is R. So R is equal to V divided by I. V is given as 30 and the I is 2. So that will become 15 ohms. So the resistance of the conductor is 15 ohms. Now let's move into the fourth problem. The resistance of the wire of length 10 meter is 2 ohms. So the resistance is 2 ohms and the length of the wire is 10 meter. Now if the area of cross section of the wire is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meter square, determine its resistivity, conductance and conductivity. So we have to find out three quantities, right? Now what is length? Length is equal to 10 meters, resistance is 2 ohms and the area of cross section is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meter square. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out resistivity rho, conductance G and the conductivity mu. Now we know that rho is equal to RA divided by L. Now what is R2? What is A2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 divided by length is 10 meters. Now since it's given in meters, we can take as it is. So this will become 2 into 2, 4, right? Now this 10 which is in the denominator. Now this is 10 to the power of minus 1. When it comes to the numerator, it will become 10 to the power of minus 7 plus 10 to the power of minus 1. That will become 10 to the power of minus 8. So the resistivity is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 8 ohm meter. Now what is conductance? Conductance is the reciprocal of the resistance, isn't it? So 1 divided by 2. What is the resistance? Resistance is 2 ohms, isn't it? So 2. 1 divided by 2. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. Conductance is the, either you can write ohm inverse or the mho. Now conductivity. Conductivity is the reciprocal of resistivity. Now here we got the resistivity value. So 1 divided by 4 into 10 to the power of minus 8, which is nothing but 0.25. These are the four numerical problems so far that is given till the concept that we have discussed. Now in this session we have discussed about what is electric current, what is electric circuit, that is components that is used in the electric circuit, potential difference, electrical potential, resistance, resistivity, conductance and conductivity, isn't it? And we have also seen four numerical problems. Copy these four numerical problems and the solution should contains given to find and the solution, right? So this should be copied. These four numerical problems should be copied in your classwork and submit your classwork in the school office on Friday. Now this is your homework, that is you have to copy these four numerical problems and be thorough with the four numerical problems. Now we will continue this lesson in the next session. Thank you children.